Do you find that people think that you're being rude when you think you're being direct and cordial? Are you often misunderstood in ways that you don't understand? Well, you're in the right place because today we're going to be talking about perceived rudeness. Hello and welcome to Life Divergent. I'm Trina.
And I'm Jason. Quick reminder before we get started. We are not doctors or licensed medical professionals. Please do not use this as a substitute for professional medical advice.
Right. So, um, perceived rudeness in neurodivergent people, including those with autism and ADHD, it usually stems from a mismatch in social scripts rather than, being intentional malice. Do you know what I mean?
The social scripts, that mismatch, you mean prioritizing direct information as opposed to navigating conversation based on societal norms or standards, right?
Yeah,
I know that neurodivergent people tend to focus on the information itself instead of how it's perceived.
right. So, whereas neurotypical people's communication styles typically rely heavily on things like body language, um, I feel like those are things that are oftentimes misread by neurotypical people when looking at neurodivergent people. So, really, I think that what we find is that we have a clash of communication styles. That's the problem.
And it's known as the double empathy problem.
Ah,
That's a term or phrase coined by the autistic researcher Damien Milton back in 2012.
so,
I
was
don't
he autistic or was he researching autism?
TBD.
Okay, go on.
I think that. Well, anyway. So, but yeah, that was in 2012, which is unfortunate. That was a long time ago. Feels like it was only yesterday. But
Yeah.
the let's see. The study holds that the breakdowns between autistic and non-autistic people are mutual. It's
Hmm.
not really a one-sided deficit. Each person will read the other through their own defaults, through their own filters. So both sides will misjudge intent. As historically, as you know, only one side has been labeled as lacking social skills.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So again, basically, the onus has typically been placed on the neurodivergent person for any misunderstandings or miscommunications, all fault, so to speak. I'm doing air quotes for those who are listening and not viewing. Um, all the fault has typically been placed on the neurodivergent person for any misunderstandings or miscommunications.
Yeah, see, autistic people share information with each other just as effectively as non autistic people share information with each other, but they don't mix and match as well.
That's really kind of interesting. So if you have like two neurodivergent people talking, they can communicate just as well and just as easily, perhaps, as two neurotypical people.
And the irony of that is, I find myself getting along less well with people who are like me.
Huh? Really?
Generally, yeah, whenever I've talked to or hung out with dudes on the spectrum, I don't know, feel like there's a clash. Hard to say why,
Hmm.
but that might just be a me thing.
Maybe. Maybe. But again, as I say, if you've met one neurotypical person, you've met one neurotypical people person person. So it's not expected that we're all going to be exactly the same. So, why do you think? Um, well, I don't think it's single faceted, but do you have any ideas of why you think that the misunderstandings between neurotypical and neurodivergent people might happen?
Oh, I have plenty of thoughts. The first one that comes to mind is just prioritizing data. That's me. I'd rather just forget the pleasantries, forget the nonsense, just give me information. but
Right.
there's a certain amount of directness to that and bluntness sometimes.
Yeah.
Efficient communication is my priority. Um,
Hmm.
I I do recognize that skipping those pleasantries I mentioned is sometimes interpreted as being harsh, abrupt, or rude, as the title of this video slash podcast is saying.
Right.
What do you think? What are the other ones that you have?
Yeah. I get that. I also think that, kind of similarly, not exactly the same, but is that neurodivergent people tend to speak with a monotone voice. I mean, again, not always true, but I mean, we've spoken about these kind of things too. And one of the things that we struggle with is eye contact. So it's either no contact or limited eye contact that can put people off. Also, flat expressions. Your facial expressions, you just read as disinterested or bored or hostile, even when it's just basically your neutral state. Um, and I think that oftentimes people just they don't get it. They expect you to be all smiley or your face to change constantly. And like I don't think that mine even does that. I don't know. I may be wrong.
I've been told that I am monotone.
Yeah, I've been
Recently,
told the same.
the thing is, someone told me that. All right, hold on, let me do this. Someone called me at work, and I answered, hi, this is Jason with so and so company.
Hmm.
And someone's like, "Oh, I was gonna leave a message. I thought this like they didn't know it was me. They thought it was a machine talking." And so I'm like,
That's
okay, that coincides with some things that my friends have said. So I decided to try to vary up my tone when I'm answering phones. And I don't really know how to do that effectively, so I thought it would sound awkward. And so I've been deliberately trying to fluctuate how I say things. But despite that, like a week later, someone's like, "Oh, I thought I didn't know I had a person on the phone." I'm like, bro, I was trying really hard to make sure I didn't sound like that. But what I ended up saying to the person was, "Yeah, I get that a lot," and just kind of rolled with it.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's my experience with the monotone voice. Uh, anyway,
Anyway,
there.
what else?
Well, we have the information overload is a thing.
Oh yeah.
You know how you can just sort of info dump on someone, or you have a sensory overload. You have all these different things you're doing to avoid meltdowns. You can
Hmm.
look dismissive. You can. It's a lot at once. Whether you're trying to deal with what the sorry, it's for me it's kind of difficult to explain when I actually have to put it into words. But
Well, I can help with information overload. I think a little bit.
well, it's not just what the other person is saying as much as it's all the senses. It's the whole environment. Sometimes it what's happening is too much to handle,
Hmm.
and you have to take a break, or you may become just more abrupt and trying to
Yeah.
break away from the conversation. And that, again, back to the title, can be perceived as being rude.
Yeah. I think there have been a couple of times where I don't really get mad in general, but when I know that I'm about to get mad, typically what I will do is whoever I'm having a conversation with or engaged with, I will say to them, okay, I'm going to need a minute. I'm going to walk away. It's because there's too much going on. There are too many thoughts in my head, and I need to walk away and think and collect my thoughts and make sure that I'm not being irrational or that, the things that I'm thinking are correct or at least, as I said, rational. Because sometimes it's just like when somebody's just rah, 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 in your face and you're just trying to explain. Sometimes it's just easier to walk away and weigh what they were saying and mull over your thoughts. Um, it's not been a pretty scene when people have stopped me from walking away. So I know that, it becomes more than it's just they're saying so much. It's like the lights are so bright and there is other noise happening, like the TV is going in the distance, and it's like it's hard to just to be with your thoughts and figure things out unless you have a moment to get away. So, I mean, I don't know if that's an exact thing, but kind of, I think.
Yeah, and it'll just hit you all at once. It's not like you
Yep.
can prepare for it. But
Right.
um, I had mentioned a moment ago how um, other people can be just sort of doing their own version of info dumping, and you're just caught up in your own meltdown and can't really pay attention or address it. But have you had experiences with info dumping yourself, and how that can
Oh
lead to people
God,
just
I'm
checking
the
their
worst.
watch or just yawning or tapping or whatever?
I'm the worst. I'm so the worst. Like in my like if there's something that I know a lot about and they happen to bring it up, oh my God, I get so excited. I get so enthusiastic about that topic and I just go off, completely forgetting that I'm talking to another human being basically and I'm just monologuing, which, isn't good for conversation. Um,
I mean, it's good if you're a villain.
yeah, but it makes you come across as like a know-it-all or that you're being self-centered, depending on the conversation at hand. Um, but really, it's an expression of excitement and also, oh wow, there's something for me to connect with this person on. But you don't actually allow for the connection because you just monopolize, I guess is a good way to say it. You monopolize the non-conversation or the what would be a conversation. So I struggle with that at times. I've tried to be better and be more laid back, I guess, to kind of dampen my enthusiasm a little bit and allow people the space to talk. But I'm not going to say I'm successful at it. But I'm aware. I've become aware. So I guess that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Self awareness. Now, do you just let it happen, or have you tried to mitigate that, or is it a them problem? Like, how you handle that?
Um, mostly I don't talk to a lot of people, but mostly it has happened with my cousin. I think I brought it up before. Like when I went to see her at one point, and she was growing a garden and I just started going off about, oh, when you grow this thing, blah blah blah, and you need to do this and you need to do this, oh, and when you grow that, and da 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 da. And then she started talking about koi fish and I'm like, oh, I've heard blah 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 about koi fish and blah 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 and blah. And that was a time when I became overwhelmingly aware that I did it. So the next time that I went to see her, I actually tried to, rather than just throwing out information, asking questions instead to make it more conversational. Like ask a question while kind of interjecting something that I knew something about, but asking a question and allowing her to respond. So I feel like I did a better job. Yeah. So there's that. What about you? Anything that comes to mind of info dumping? I just think of you being like bouncing and standing up, bouncing and just, ah, I don't know. Not
Why
like,
do you?
but,
Why do you? I mean, did I used to do that?
yes.
Yeah, I can think of several instances. First one that came to mind though was back in college when I was learning how to mod the game Skyrim.
Hmm.
It was really cool. I never modded games before. Now, Bethesda has built when they released Skyrim and other games, they also give you a developer toolkit so you can mod the games. Like they totally support that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was excited when I found out about this. I was learning how to do it. I was living with my friend. He had also been involved in the modding community, had modded games before. So I was excited and talking to him about everything that I had learned. And after like a few minutes, he said, "Yeah, I've been doing this a while. Like, why are you telling me how to mod these games?" I'm like, "I'm just excited. I just learned some stuff and I want to share it." So I had never really realized until that moment that people didn't see the info dumping as sharing excitement. It was in that instance perceived as, I'm going to teach you something you don't know, which wasn't the case.
Or I'm going to teach you something you already know, but I know it better. So here we go. Know it all.
I've
Yeah.
I've been in the reverse situation as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, there is a study on all of this. It's actually pretty interesting.
Huh.
So yeah,
Do tell.
okay. I wasn't going to, but now that you've
You're
said
just
that,
going to mention that
yep.
there's a study about all this and move
Yes.
on. Okay.
There was a study, and now you know that there was.
Yay.
So the study had neurotypical people observe very brief clips of autistic and non-autistic adults. And the first impression of those people kind of shaped who wanted to talk to whom. So the first impression of autistic adults formed almost instantly. And usually from the beginning of the video where nothing had been said yet. They were seen. Yeah. I was surprised when I learned that, but there's more to just the language, the verbal language. Body language is important, as we've spoken before, the eye contact.
Right.
So these people were rated as being generally less favorable, which is in terms of likability, trustworthiness. So the neurotypical people had less of a desire to interact with the autistic versus the non-autistic.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, it's not, it was about how, like I said before, how they presented themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Not even necessarily what they said or what they intended. Again, it's just,
I mean, that kind of tracks, I guess.
it's one of those things that in retrospect, yeah, I can see it, but I never thought about it.
Me neither. I mean, I'm kind of, blown away by this. Just, it's like, it's almost like, I don't know, there's like an unwritten thing across your forehead. Oh, you're neurotypical. I mean, not really, but you know what I mean?
I've been told that I seem unapproachable.
Huh, me too.
But then when
I
people
always just
approach
thought
me,
it was because I was unattractive and nobody cared to approach me.
oh, I never thought that about myself.
Well, like, I wouldn't. You're a handsome young man, Jason, while you're getting older.
I don't want to talk about that. So, anyway, here's the last part about that study.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my thoughts on this.
I'm sure you do.
So, when the neurotypical observers were told that the person in whichever video clip was autistic, and the neurotypical person knew what that meant, their ratings of that person changed. Or when a video was presented to someone as here's an autistic person, they were not seen as less likable. I don't necessarily mean to say that they were seen as more likable, but it was then within the same line of the video clips about neurotypicals. And that concept bothers me because I know this just anecdotally. People have a certain perspective or interpretation, and I found that they're more receptive and more patient when I'm like, oh, hey, BT dubs on the spectrum. Now, I don't like that at all. Because you're being patient with me. You're being understanding. You get it. You know that there are certain social differences. You you suddenly have this ability to be less frustrated. Now, that means that you're capable of being patient and capable of not reaching frustration. But you only decided to be that way when you found out I was on the spectrum, which means you decided before then to not have patience. That was a conscious thing that you did, to not
Mm-hmm.
be patient. You let yourself get frustrated. The fact that that changed, if that didn't change when you found out I'm on the spectrum, that just means you're impatient. And whatever, that's fine. But to
Or
know
you're
that you're
just a dick in general.
right, and like I get that, but I don't get why you have the ability to be patient and understanding, but only if you think there's a challenge with me. Like, why not just be like that all the time? Why not just be a patient person? Why not just not get frustrated when you don't understand why a person's being a certain way in conversation? End rant.
That's a valid point.
Well, that's
Um,
good.
it is. I mean, I kind of get that, but then of course you run across these people who, even if you do explain, they don't give a shit. Which again, that makes you the dick, not me. Um, but the other side of it, I guess, is I think that if that is the thing in life, for example, that makes someone understand that you're not being rude, you're not being a dick, that maybe they never experienced, or maybe they were never aware that they experienced someone who had a different communication style. Um, and so, if it's awareness and understanding that we're striving for, and it's not a pity thing or anything like that, that they're like, oh, wait a minute, okay, maybe I've just been approaching people in general incorrectly my whole life, then I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I said earlier end rant, but there was more to the rant.
Oh, oops.
Well, no, 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 no. You're fine. I just like in this very moment, I realized that there was something else.
Okay, what's the something else?
If I tell someone that I have this challenge or this or this or this, which I really don't just volunteer that information usually,
Mm-hmm.
and your perspective is the same, you still behave the same way,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. That means that you're not changing who you are based on the information you just learned.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be treated with kid gloves.
Right.
So don't change who you are or how you approach a conversation because of what's perceived as a disability. Just hey, like if you're gonna be a dick to people or just impatient in general, don't be different to me. Just
Carry on.
but it is a big deal to people, which is surprising. I remember
Yeah.
someone at work before I knew, like several years ago, someone at
Mm-hmm.
work said they thought that I might be on the spectrum or have Asperger's or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And that was interesting. Someone else at work said the same thing. I'm like, that's interesting.
Uh-huh.
So that's when I got the diagnosis because I brought it up.
Right.
But then a bit later, I was talking to one of those people and said that, like, I had confirmed that their presumption was accurate. And
Mm-hmm.
what she said was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Kind of in like kind of like I had cancer or something. Like it was some terminal diagnosis. I'm
Oh
thinking,
my gosh,
what?
that's kind of funny.
The response might have been, "Oh, okay," or like, "Yes, I was right," something like that.
I knew it.
Not just like I got hit with the fatality. I don't.
Fatality. Sorry. Yeah,
I, so
that's
that
kind of interesting.
it, it was interesting, that's for sure. Like I
Uh,
didn't think anything of it.
yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that people who are neurodivergent and have lived with it all their lives, especially people who, have gone undiagnosed, it's like, well, this is just who I am. I mean, I'm not necessarily, I mean, I don't want to say you're not defined by your neurodivergent conditions, I mean, you are, but you're not. I mean, you're still a person who has had experiences in life, and you've grown, hopefully, changed, learned, experienced different things. And, although your neurodivergence is a part of you, it's not you. So I don't think that it's something to feel bad about for other people. Like, oh, like you kind of were saying, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that you have ADHD, or I'm sorry that you're autistic, or whatever. It's like, well, it kind of sucks, but here we are.
I
Kind of used to it by now.
Yeah, like I don't know any different.
Right. It just is. And it always has been.
Yeah, it's not like I caught it or something. Like I was hanging out with Rain Man the other day, and just all of a sudden,
Oh gosh, I got immunized and bam. Sorry.
and it is what it is. So.
Right. Well, so although we're laughing about this and such, I think that there's kind of I'm sorry, are you done ranting?
Honestly, in life, no. It's just
But for our purposes here today.
For our purposes today, I have nothing that I'm going to rant about.
Okay, good. Then I will move us along. Okay, so I think that there are some things that neurotypical people can do to help neurodivergent people effectively communicate. But again, here we go. The responsibility is going to fall on the neurodivergent person, because we're sitting here preaching to the choir, basically. I don't think that our target audience is neurotypical people. It's neurodivergent people. So
the target audience is anyone who's interested, but
right. But I think if you know, you know. And if you don't know, you don't know, and you don't know that you might be interested. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
All right, so man, that one laughed me deep, made me cough. All right, so if neurotypical people don't understand that there are neurodivergent people in their lives, in their communities, or whatever, why are they going to go looking up a term they've never heard of before, or something they're just not familiar with? It doesn't typically happen. We follow our interests typically. So I can't fathom some neurotypical person just going, oh, how can I better communicate with a neurodivergent person, if they even know the term neurodivergent? So that's kind of what I mean. But
yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But you said that the responsibility falls on the neurodivergent people.
Yeah.
Now, to clarify, it shouldn't.
Right. It shouldn't. But again, if you don't know, you don't know. But if you do know, you do know.
Yes. So we have to advise, advertise.
Right.
Just have a conversation. I don't know what the word is.
Walking around with a sandwich board on that says, I'm autistic and I can teach you how to communicate better with people who are neurodivergent. Ask me how.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So I think, I'll start by pointing out something that a neurotypical person could do that would help us better communicate with them. But again, we have to figure out how to kind of reframe that, or how to communicate that with them. So it's like if a neurodivergent person, neurotypical person, instead of assuming that I have bad intentions from something that I said, really they could ask me to clarify or to reframe. Can you tell me what you meant by that? Or, I feel like I speak pretty clearly most of the time and pretty pointedly, but, I feel like I'm often misunderstood because people don't take the time to ask for clarification, or they don't ask follow-up questions. I don't know if it's because they're intimidated, or because they've already determined that they just don't like me and they don't want to be bothered. So I think that if there are people, people you trust in your friends group, in your social group, or whatever, without necessarily saying, hey, I have ADHD or I'm autistic or whatever, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you could just let them know, excuse me, um, my communication style differs from a lot of people. So if I ever say something that you think comes across as flippant or rude or inappropriate, please just ask me to clarify or whatever, because I know that I'm that way, or I know that I'm perceived that way. So you can help them to help you in a manner of speaking, I guess.
Well, I've had.
Yeah.
There's more to what I'm about to say. I just stopped mid sentence.
There's more to what you're about to say.
I said I had, and then I just stopped
Oh,
talking altogether.
okay.
Nah, it's like. So I was struggling with having plans, making plans with friends,
Hmm.
because few of my friends like to just spur of the moment. Hey, are you free? It's like, I'm not doing anything right now, but I need more time to make plans to prepare for that.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of neurotypical people, as I'm finding out, can just do that. But along the vein of what we're talking about, I have been advised that I can let people know that, generally speaking, I'll need however much time in advance. So if we could plan things out instead of last minute, that would be great.
Hmm.
And then the hard part is, are they accommodating? Are
Right.
they willing to, or does their lifestyle allow for that? And
Hmm.
that can lead to some strained friendships, because
Did
you
you say
might
strange or strained?
both.
Both?
Sure, strained though.
Okay.
That can strain friendships because one person, the neurotypical person, might not be able to or want to accommodate. And then I think that a neurodivergent person, or anyone really, shouldn't have to change who they are or what they're okay with. If something like making plans is stressful, then last minute plans, I mean, then I shouldn't
Right.
do it. Like, I shouldn't put myself through a stressor because someone's unwilling or unable to accommodate something that's, a need of mine. And so that
Right.
can strain the friendship, or maybe we just have to go our separate ways,
Yeah.
as hard as that can
Because
be.
by the same token, I mean, if they don't want to be accommodating and they think that you should be the one who's more not impromptu. What am I trying to say? What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? Spur of the moment. What's the word?
Sporadic, spontaneous, extemporaneous.
Spontaneous. That one,
Okay.
not extemporaneous. Yeah. If they can't accept that you're not good with spontaneity, um, they might even take it like, well, he's not accommodating me. Um, Although I don't think that being spontaneous is something that requires accommodation, but some people can get defensive. But yeah, I mean, I agree that there's a point where if people don't want to give you grace, so to speak, then that person really isn't necessarily worth having in your life anyway.
Yeah, it's tough,
Yeah.
but I think that in the long term, it's worth it. But it's going to be more stressful for you if you don't have the conversation.
Right.
So, like, to what you were saying, it's on us, but it shouldn't be. We have to say, hey, this is what I need. I'd like you to accommodate this for me
Right.
because I need that.
Right. And then when you run across some dudes who are accommodating, then you found your people in a manner of speaking, which is nice.
I think
Um,
so.
yeah. So I'm thinking that there's another thing that can be difficult, uh, and that is that we don't often pick up on certain cues. subtle hints, because we're not necessarily the greatest at realizing when people are trying to change a subject, like if they're sighing, or they're
Like
kind
I
of,
said, checking the watch, looking around, just
yeah.
kind of disinterested. They start texting or something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Um, I think that I'm pretty good at picking up on those kinds of things. However, it's embarrassing and it's dismissive and it's belittling. And I feel like I wish that instead of them doing those kinds of signs, instead of beating around the bush, if there were some way that they could be like, oh, hey, guess what happened to me the other day? Or, I mean, changing the subject is one thing, but I don't really know how to communicate this one other than saying, hey, if I'm info dumping, if I'm boring you, or I'm just being what some people might consider to be too much, you can look at me and say, hey, slow down, or something, let's agree on something here that, you can help me communicate better. Um, so that I can, I don't know, not take over a conversation, or just kind of let them know that you struggle with certain things, especially when you get excited about a topic. That might be awkward though, but um
Well, it's difficult to do, but if this is topic specific, like that you have the potential to just start talking about everything on a topic,
mhm.
there's a way that you can there's a way you can lead into it by saying that, let's say someone brings up fishing and you know a lot about it, you love it, and you just want to talk about all your fishing experiences. You could lead with saying, I love fishing. I have a lot of thoughts on this. Uh, Feel free to cut me off because I know I can ramble endlessly, just kind of make a little bit of a joke about it.
Yeah.
And then you could always try to remind yourself to check in. I
Right.
think that's a good habit to build in general. But
Mhm.
you've given them a get out of boredom free card, basically, by like you gave them an out right away, saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
let me know. Just cut me
I
off at any
mean,
time."
yeah, and it might be good to, adjunct, hey, I know it might feel uncomfortable, but really, if I'm monopolizing or whatever, just let me know, because I don't mean to. I just know that it happens, and I won't be offended if you know,
Ooh,
and stick to it. Don't be offended.
I feel a rant coming on.
Oh, geez. Go ahead.
Hey, 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 hey.
I'm
Listen.
kidding. I'm kidding. I love your rants. Your rants are my favorite. Go ahead.
Well, I had a situation where I'm in a small group, like 5 people. I'm talking about something. We're all talking back and forth. And I start talking a little bit more at length than anyone else was. And I noticed they're just kind of like on their phones looking around. And it occurred to me that I don't know if anyone's actually paying attention. So I decided to stop talking mid sentence to see if anybody noticed. And no one did. No one said anything. No one looked up. It's like, who was I talking to? Now, the thing is about a situation like that, if I'm talking to someone who's neurotypical, I know you're capable of paying attention. You may not be interested, but you guys are the experts in
You can
societal
do it.
standards. Yes, you know social norms. You know it's polite to pay attention and smile and nod. Do that. Just,
Do it.
hey, you know what? If you have to fake it to make me feel like what I'm doing is worth doing, go for it.
My favorite is, oh, I have groceries that I just brought in. I got to take care of those. Or, oh, like if you're on the phone, I have to go to the bathroom. Although I have to admit, I use that one myself when I'm like exhausted from somebody talking to me on the phone, when they know I don't like talking on the phone. This
Yeah,
could have been said in a text.
I think that I said this on a previous cast, but you can avoid conversation. Oh, sorry. You can leave any conversation on the phone if when you answer, you say, hey, what's up? My phone's about to die.
Yes,
You can
that's
just
another
hang
one
up.
of my favorite. Oh gosh, my phone. Or did you hear that beep? Just make up random beeps. Did you hear that beep? Oh no! Oh my gosh, my phone's dying.
Do phones beep these days when when that happens?
Um, I don't know.
I have my
Yes,
sound
my
off,
phone
so
kind of vibrates and beeps. Yeah, it
oh
makes like a chimey kind of noise. I don't know how to describe it.
oh okay.
Sorry.
I'm just I don't have sounds on my phone usually, so
Well, you never
anyway.
have it turned up anyway, so it wouldn't matter if you did, would it?
Well, that's what I mean. Like I don't hear the
Oh,
sounds because
gotcha.
yeah.
Right. All right. So, yeah, that one's a sticky one. Um, I think that another one that's real important is that neurotypical people rely very heavily on not only perceiving body language and tone and facial expressions and that kind of thing, but they use them a lot. And so there's an expectation that, regardless of what they're saying, you should understand it because they're being real emphatic with their hands. And I mean, I am too, but they're, contorting their face, they're jigging their body around, whatever. Um,
They're doing what to their body?
jigging it around. I don't know
What
what
even is
that.
that?
I have no idea what that means, but it's a verb now. I know that there's a jig, like in woodworking, and a jigsaw. But anyway, so they're whatever they're doing it to their body.
And
Bodies.
it's natural. They know how to do it.
Yeah. Again, I'm pretty expressive, I think, with my hands and that kind of thing, but other things may be lacking. And another thing is sometimes maybe my body language doesn't is not congruent with what I'm saying. But what I think here in this case is, again, to communicate to the other person, hey, not really good at detecting tone or that kind of thing. So, and I tend to be really direct. So I'd appreciate it if, when we're communicating, I don't know why I keep saying, because obviously they don't know. That's why you're having to explain it to them. But anyway, um, I would just appreciate it if you'd be really direct with me and tell me what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and don't leave anything that you want me to know up to chance. I don't know, just a thought. Do you have a rant on that, Mr. Jason?
No, I don't rant. I don't know where you got that. I'm calm and cool, collected and civil all of the time. Emotions don't affect me.
Of course. Do you have any suggestions or thoughts on that, or are you good there?
Suggestions or thoughts? Well, as I do, part of me wants to make a joke of everything, so
Of course.
I can think of a lot of suggestions that are not to be taken seriously. But
Hmm.
with respect to the fact that this is primarily educational,
Yeah.
I don't have anything of value to add anymore.
Well, I do think that one thing that you kind of expressed in the previous topic, kind of falls into this. It's like, if you're making plans with me, I need times. I need hard, fast times. I
Mhm.
need, you know,
Okay, I have
or
a rant.
or a window, or don't. I'm not good at spontaneity. I knew you'd have a rant.
I did. They're there. I didn't decide to be full of rantiness.
Rant away, sir. Rant away.
All right, so there's a concept, and I don't know how many people know about this, but it's called punctuality.
Oh, that.
Yeah. So it's difficult sometimes. It really is.
To do a podcast when somebody doesn't show up at the stated time. Oh, wait, what?
I have a lot going on sometimes.
Go ahead and rant, sir.
Like when people spend 5 days, 6 hours a day trying to fix my AC,
Yeah.
and it bleeds into the weekend, and I got to reschedule some things.
I hate those bloody AC things.
Yeah. So at least I'm not sleeping in 89-degree weather.
That's nice.
Weather? Temperature.
The weather in here, the air conditioning is just not doing its job. All right. What's your rant? Are you done?
Look,
It was
if you
about
have to,
punctuality.
yeah. I mean, if you're late, that's fine. I've grown accustomed, not you, but right people. I used to be bothered by it, but I get it. You got to be 5, 10, 15. I like the idea of don't no call, no show me.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think the one time I did that to you, I forgot that we had picked a different time to meet. And you're like, what, an hour and change after our designated start time, you said, hey, you okay? I'm like, yeah,
And you're like, yeah, why?
Like, well, we're supposed to meet an hour and change ago. I'm like, oh, my bad. I kind of remember that. Maybe. Sure. Why not?
Yeah, there's this thing called your calendar.
Yeah, and I started using the calendar since then. But
and there's a thing called being considerate of others and their time. I'm not saying this in this specific instance.
right. I wouldn't say that having a poor memory is an example of inconsiderate, but
Right.
That was simply like the one time I think I inadvertently no call, no showed you. But
yeah,
I'll get that
but
often.
Then again, I could have been more direct and said, hey, yo, where you be? We were supposed to meet.
Yeah,
instead of are you okay?
I've gotten so used to people, like especially at work when I have scheduled client meetings, for them to just no call, no show. So I've gotten used to the idea of just I'll follow up. We set a meeting a week out. The day before, I'll just check and make sure we're still on.
Yeah.
And so then I started carrying that over into my personal life with friends because
I was going to say not with me, apparently. With friends. Okay, I see how it is.
Whereas if we have an agreed upon time and I kind of get the vibe that they're not going to make it, I'll check just to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because people no call, no show. And I just like, dude, that's my whole afternoon I had dedicated to whatever we were doing.
Well, and another thing, like, I don't know if you're like this, but I think you are, like me being neurodivergent. It's like if I have something to do at 5 o'clock, from like 10 o'clock on, I'm not doing shit because I'm waiting to get ready to do the thing that I'm going to do at 5 o'clock.
Did we talk about that in a previous podcast?
Maybe.
It's a very real thing. If we haven't,
I think we've touched on it. Well, I think we've touched on it a little bit specifically because, in talking about planning on doing the podcast and such, we've said things like, you've been like, oh yeah, but I need to stream at such and such time. And I'm like, oh yeah, I get that. So you need like the day. So I think we've talked about it in passing between us, but not necessarily on a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real thing. You have to plan your plan. So you need time to plan your plan. Yes.
Yes.
Exactly that. All right. Anything else on that? Yeah, I think we need to move on because this is running long today. All right. I think the final thing is we kind of touched on this a little bit previously, is letting people step away or give you an answer later if you've asked them something. A lot of times they're going to need a break to think things through, to regulate their emotions. It's not a rejection. They're not walking away from you because they're bored. I mean, it's good if you communicate to the neurotypical person, hey, look, I need a couple of minutes to, get my thoughts in order and blah, blah, blah. Can I get back to you on that? Or just whatever. But again, that's communication. Let them know why you're walking away. Don't stand there and then be in the middle of a sentence and you just be like, stand there and talk to them and let them know that you need a moment, or just be upfront. And I think most people, here we are again, if they're not dicks, they're going to be somewhat understanding of the fact that you might need a moment to think on things. There's a reason that people say, let me sleep on that. Sometimes you need time to think things through. Sorry.
Sometimes it's like you have that sensory overload and you need to just break away from a conversation, but they're just going on about their own thing and you
Right.
don't want to interrupt. And so the desire or need to leave the conversations building, the stress of knowing you're going to have to interrupt them is also building and adding to that. So yeah, it can be really difficult, but
Yeah.
self-preservation.
Another thing, yeah, communicating it up front too could make them aware that that might happen.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's good. All good information.
All right. Anything else you can think of?
No, I think that is all that there is to discuss today.
Okay, I think so. Next week, not next week, but in the next episode, maybe next week, yeah, like next Monday,
I don't know.
we are going to be talking about night owls because we have a lot of those in the fam.
Ooh, the fam. You're
In the
cool.
fam. I'm a cool kid. Anyway, so join us then, and that's what we'll be talking about. In the meantime, be well. Bye.
Bye.